You're listening to Reference Desk, the Wicomico Public Libraries podcast that will connect you to your public library.
This week, our podcast is going to be answering frequently asked questions about the upcoming elections: where, how, and when to vote. And we will also briefly go over the ballot for District 1, which encompasses most of the eastern shore of Maryland. In less than a month, people 18 and over are going to be taking part in a cornerstone institution of this country, the primary election. Along with voting for the next president, we are also going to be presented with other local and federal positions that are up for re-election. These positions are just as important, as the senators and judges we elect will have an impact on our laws as well. Here are some frequently asked questions.
We are experiencing a pandemic right now. What if I'm uncomfortable voting in person this year?
Because of the COVID-19 health concerns, voting in person may be impossible or inadvisable for some. Absentee ballots or mail-in ballots are a great way to make your voice heard. This year, the deadline to apply for the absentee or mail-in ballot is October 20th, so there's still some time.
How do I fill out and send an absentee or a mail-in ballot?
The mail-in ballot will arrive in the mail at the address listed on your voter registration and will appear the same as the in-person ballot. Simply cast your vote and use the included envelope to send it back. The mail-in ballots can be sent via USPS or dropped off at one of the drop-off sites in the area.
Where are the drop-off sites in our area?
These sites, as of right now, are Pittsville Volunteer Fire Department, Wicomico Youth and Civic Center, Wicomico County Board of Elections, and the Wicomico Tourism Center. These locations will furnish a drop-off box, contact-free for safety. More information on drop-off locations, visit elections.maryland.gov.
I'm fine voting in person, but I can't get off work on election day. What are my options?
If you prefer to vote in person but can't make it on election day, there is an early voting location at the Wicomico Youth and Civic Center in Salisbury. Early voting will start on Monday, October 26, 2020, and continue daily, including weekends, until November 2nd, 2020, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. These early voting dates tend to have shorter lines and don't require as much waiting.
I can vote on election day. When is it?
November 3rd is National Voting Day. Voting will take place from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m.
How do I find out my appropriate voting location?
In Wicomico County, there will be a total of 9 polling places. Your polling place will be determined by your mailing address. If you are unsure about where you vote on November 3rd, visit wicomicocounty.org for the information. It is important to note that regardless of your assigned polling place, you are able to cast a ballot at any location in Wicomico County. However, your ballot may take longer to be processed since your voter information may not be available at that location. The locations in Wicomico County are as follows: Mardella Middle and High School at 24940 Delmar Road, Mardella Springs. West Side Intermediate School, 8000 Quantico Road, Hebron. Willards Elementary School, 36161 Richland Road in Willards. Bennett Middle School, 532 South Division Street in Fruitland. In Salisbury, the locations are Salisbury Middle School at 607 Morris Street, Pemberton Elementary School, 1300 Pemberton Drive, James M. Bennett High School, 300 East College Avenue, Wicomico Youth and Civic Center, 500 Glen Avenue, and Beaver Run Elementary School, 31481 Old Ocean City Road.
Who are the candidates running for president in the 2020 election?
This year, the presidential candidates are, for the Democratic Party, Joe Biden; for the Republican Party, Donald Trump; for the Libertarian Party, Joe Jorgensen; for the Green Party, Howie Hawkins; for the Bread and Roses Party, Jerry Segal. For the unaffiliated, we have Barbara Ruth Beller, Sean W. Howard, Johnson Lee, Deborah Ann Rouse, and Casey Wells.
What else is on the ballot for our district?
Alongside the presidential nominees, there are also other state-level offices and legislation that will be voted on. For District 1, this includes Maryland State House of Representatives for District 1. Andrew Harris for the Republican Party. He's incumbent. Mia Mason for the Democratic Party. The Maryland Court of Appeals First Appellate Circuit. Brynja McDivitt. She's unopposed and incumbent. Maryland Court of Special Appeals at Large. Edward Gregory Wells. Unopposed. He's incumbent. Maryland Court of Special Appeals First Appellate Circuit. Christopher B. Cahoe. Unopposed, incumbent as well.
Are there any amendments or legislation questions on the ballot for the state of Maryland in this election year?
Yes, there are 2 questions that I found on the sample ballot for this election year. They are: question number 1, legislative authority over state budget amendments. Voting yes supports authorizing Maryland General Assembly to increase, decrease, or add items to the state budget as long as such measures do not exceed the total proposed budget submitted by the governor. Question number 2, the sports betting expansion measure. A yes vote on this measure supports authorizing sports and events wagering at certain licensed facilities with state revenue intended to fund public education.
Where can I find a sample ballot if I wanted to read more about these questions?
If you would like to view a sample ballot for your district, or would like to read more about the legislation on the ballot, visit ballotpedia.org for more information. That's BALLOTPEDIA.org. Fair and free elections are a cornerstone of democracy and relies on election judges. These are people who assist voters with checking in and casting ballots at all in-person polling places. Without willing workers, free and fair elections would be impossible. This is a paid position and training is included. The positions for this election year have been filled. Taking a role as an election judge is a great way to serve your community and your government. If you would like to take a role as an election judge next voting season, visit election.maryland.gov to find out more.
Future episodes of the podcast may include a variety of programming ranging from story times, crafts, readers' advisories, local interviews, discussions, community news, and etc. We also encourage feedback and suggestions.
Visit us online at www.wicomicolibraries.org. Search for Wicomico Public Libraries on YouTube and podcast channels. To give us your feedback, you may call 410-835-2353 or email us at podcast@wicomico.org.